This episode of the ResortLoop.com podcast is brought to you by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Joffrey's is proud to be the official specialty coffee of Disney. Enjoy drinks and pastries at Joffrey's kiosks throughout the parks and check out the Disney Specialty Coffee Collection only at Joffreys.com.
Hi, Loopers. It's Christy Keene calling from where else? The Resort Loop. It's a Saturday night. The sun is setting over Magic Kingdom, and it's absolutely beautiful. And we're taking the loop before we head in. So have a great show, Tim and Bob.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Please board quickly and safely. Our monorail will be departing momentarily. Thank you.
Hey, Christy, thank you very much. Hey, Bob, how about that open? How about the open?
That was awesome. Right there on the Resort Loop.
Ah, that's awesome. I didn't even want to introduce myself, or I just want to get into it. Once I hear that, someone's on the Resort Loop just riding around. Sounds beautiful.
Very nice. Sun setting. Oh, my goodness. Doesn't it just make you want to get there, like, now?
Yes. As soon as possible.
Well, that was very nice of her to send that. And Tim, if anybody else wants to send some opens, where can they send those?
You can always call the Looper line at area code 414.
WDW.
Loop. Absolutely.
And Tim,
yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to continue our open and say this is episode 160 of ResortLoop.com.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, let's just stop the show.
Wait. We can't start the show yet.
We can't?
No.
Oh.
First, I want to give you a little trivia.
Oh, you know I love trivia.
Why is 160 significant in the history of Disney?
Ooh.
All right. Are you ready for this?
That's the minute wait for Small World. No?
I'm not sure it was ever a 160-minute wait for Small World, except at the very beginning, which takes us back to the very beginning, because in 1953, August of 1953, my friend, 38 miles south of Burbank, California, in a city called Anaheim, Disney acquired 160 acres of orange groves and walnut trees alongside the new Santa Ana Freeway and Harbor Boulevard.
Wow. What'd they put there? I'm sorry.
That's the show.
Yeah, that's
all
it.
All right, we're done.
So that kind
Anaheim, hello.
Yeah, that kind of began it all then, didn't it?
That started it all. That started at least the theme park end of it, and thank goodness Mr. Disney had the vision to do that, huh?
Exactly. Or who knows what else we'd be sitting here talking about.
We wouldn't be talking about that other park down the street. I know that.
No.
No. Not as interesting. Anyway, real quick, if I may, Tim.
Yes.
I'd like to say thank you to a couple of our listeners that put some reviews on iTunes for us.
Oh, those are great.
We really appreciate those, you guys. Please go to iTunes, rate us. It goes a long way for us. Helps other people find us and all that business. But thank you to Disney-fans and Mr. _Mouse for their very nice reviews. So
thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. So now, Tim.
Yes.
You may continue the show.
Thank you very much. Page 2. I did my Paul Harvey.
Nice.
Thank you. Well, anyway, so we're sitting around, you and I, we're going, we need to do a show.
What are we going to talk about?
What should we talk about? What's interesting? And then, I saw a shiny object on the wall, and then I tuned out for about 10 minutes. Checked my email, and then we had something that you and I always enjoy talking about.
Yes.
So I'm going to read the email we got from a listener. This is from Cynthia. She said, I was hoping you might provide your helpful hints or tips on driving straight through to Florida. She lives west of Cleveland and has been listening to the podcast, and it sounds like her drive would be similar to yours and mine. Her husband and I have done the drive together, but she's looking on taking the kids, and this is the key, by herself while they are on Christmas break. Her husband started a new job and doesn't have a vacation time yet. So she's asking us, what time do we leave? It's because it sounds like we leave in the evening and drive through all night. Do we take Interstate 77 south to 95? And if so, what's it like driving through the West Virginia mountains in the middle of the night? Then she goes on and says, congratulations, and a bunch of really nice stuff, and thanks for listening. And Cynthia, thank you for the email. We're going to address that now. Oh, I'll throw in, she loved the zombie episode, by the way.
See?
Yeah.
People like zombies.
You would think people despise zombies, but, you know.
You're the only one that's anti-zombie.
I guess. Wow. That's a small club, and I'm the president.
You and Rod Wheaton hate zombies.
Oh, see?
I don't know. Well, that's because you guys, you're going to the campground. You're not safe from zombies at a campground. It's been well documented.
That's where all the horror movies seem to start, at a campground in the woods.
Exactly.
So terrible, terrible things happen to campers in the woods, I found out in these kind of movies. So
Yes. So you need to get caught up. Anyway, Cynthia, all right.
I have concerns, Bob.
Okay, well, let's do our disclaimer first, Tim, all right?
Yes.
Should we? Okay, our disclaimer is, really, you probably shouldn't listen to anything we say or do. If you do, it's at your own risk. All right? So that's pretty much it. We got, we got legal problems now, so we got to, your lawyer friend.
Yes.
Anyway.
He's very concerned about us.
I agree with you 100%. 100%. What are your concerns?
My concern is she's alone with the kids on this trip. And from here, where I live, she's about an hour from where I'm at. It's 16 hours. So she's looking at a good 17-hour drive, and that's moving at a pretty decent clip.
Right.
So,
and, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm not sure I could recommend trying a straight through.
I agree with you 100%. My son and I were thinking about doing a little commando trip down about a month or so ago. And even though I do the bulk of the driving when we go down as a family, I was not comfortable driving the entire distance myself.
Right.
Especially as we have done the way we normally do it and the way I know you guys normally do it, leaving around 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, driving through the night. You get really tired around that, 2, 3, 4 a.m. Section there.
Yes.
And I would not recommend it either. I will say this. I did think about this after we read the email. I thought about this. And here's, I have a recommendation for Cynthia.
Okay.
And anybody else that's thinking about doing that long drive. How about this? You leave no more than 2 hours before sunrise. Because you and I know that first 2 hours you're kind of excited. You're used to usually that section of the road anyway.
Right.
And then daylight will dawn, especially for her, somewhere just before the Ohio River in Marietta. That way she's driving through the mountains in the daylight. Then she can gauge her fatiguedness. Is that a word?
It is now. You did a good job.
By like 7 o'clock at night, when you've already gotten around 12, 13 hours of your drive in, you might hit 5 o'clock at night after you've driven for, say, 12 hours and say, wow, enough is enough. You don't want to necessarily do that at 9 o'clock in the morning and say that enough is enough and you still got, 6, 7, 8 hours to drive.
Right.
What do you think?
I'm kind of leaning... Well, one, she doesn't say how old her kids are, so I'm assuming they're under driving age, whether they're tiny little kids or tweens, whatever. I'm guessing they can't do any part of the driving.
Right.
So, once again, that's a big chunk of driving. Even when I do, like you, I do most of the driving, Dawn will maybe take the wheel for like an hour or so just so I can rest my eyes.
Right.
And that can be a huge boost for the rest of the trip, just that hour.
Absolutely.
But you probably don't want to stop it, even at a rest area and rest your eyes. You have the kids just wait in the car while you're trying to sleep. I don't think that's probably a decent call.
Right, especially, and most rest stops are very, very safe and
right.
well lit, and many are patrolled. But
anything can happen anywhere.
You're exactly right, and especially a mom by herself with the kids, and 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. not the safest probably thing to do. What do you think of my idea of getting up and doing the bulk of the driving during the day, and that way you can see if you're too tired to continue on, then you want to stop around 6, 7 o'clock at night.
I like that idea. I like the idea of only driving, if you're by yourself for just maybe 2 hours before the sun comes up.
Right.
Because
absolutely.
I just found this out a couple weeks ago myself, and you know this. We were on 77 coming back from like the Cambridge-Zanesville area, and we hit a deer.
Right.
And this is a bad time of year for the deer in Ohio.
Right.
And you don't want to have a problem with just you and your 2 kids, and then have a problem with the car, and then kind of be stranded and figure out how to get back and what you're going to do with your car.
Right.
Again, anything can happen anywhere, but it's just something you need to be aware of, especially this time of year.
Right. Absolutely. It sounds like she's going to have the week that the kids are on Christmas break. Take the time. Really, take the time. Stop. There's plenty of wonderful places to stop. One of the good ones is Wytheville.
Wytheville's
Virginia.
a good one, yes.
Princeton is good. Now that's not all that far for her. So the Lake Norman area in North Carolina, that's 8 hours away.
Oh yeah, Statesville's good. Yes.
Yeah, that's your halfway point. In between Statesville and Charlotte are your halfway points. And I would recommend, if you're going to go and stay in North Carolina, that Lake Norman area just before you get to Charlotte. That's a very nice area. Seems to me very safe area. A lot of nice hotels there. Mm-hmm. That's halfway. That's your 8 hours. So if she leaves at what time's sun coming up now, Tim? About 7 o'clock?
Yeah, 6:37, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so you leave at about 5 a.m. You're gonna be stopping at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, you might be able to get a little bit further down. Might be able to make it all the way down to around the South Carolina area. Or Georgia area. That line there.
I was going to say 12 hours from here, so it'd be 13 hours for her. For me, is right around Kingsland, just north of Jacksonville.
Right.
If you can go 12 hours, which isn't terrible bad.
Yeah.
The next day you're set up for 3.5, 4 hours, and you'll arrive rested then and ready to go.
Right, and that's the other thing. Let's talk about that, because that's a big thing. Like you said, when you can get that hour or two of a nap in, especially after that drive overnight, you get through that drive overnight, you're really wiped out by morning. You go have breakfast. Everybody else is relatively refreshed because of they've been napping for the most part in the van, but you're not. You want to take that nap. Now, in both our cases, our wives take over and drive for an hour or two, and that nap, like you said, is invaluable for especially when you get there.
Yes.
Now you're not speaking of zombies. Now you're not a zombie when you get to Walt Disney World. And in her case, she's going to be just toast. And the kids are going to be bouncing off the walls. Let's go. And that can, we know, it can make for, a rough time for the parents and the kids, because mom and dad aren't 100%, and tempers can flare sometimes. So, yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. You want to be, especially again, you're alone with 2 kids, so you need to be tuned in.
Right.
You need to be coherent for the whole trip, so it's not like you can hand them off.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with the hotel stay. Maybe only stay in 5 or 6 hours. You don't have to spend the whole 12-hour night, have breakfast the next day.
Right.
Go in, crash for 3, 4, 5 hours. Just get a cheap room somewhere like a Days Inn, Motel 6, something that's clean, nice.
Right.
Good way to go.
I will tell you this quick story. This was a few years ago. We drove down. We did the drove straight through, and met my sister and her husband down there. And we were just walking around downtown Disney. And usually when I do the straight through drive, I like to crash at the hotel for a little bit, an hour or so. Just lay on the bed. I don't even need to sleep. I just need to lay for a minute. Because remember, you had talked about that almost kind of motion sickness thing you get?
Yes.
Well, I ran into that big time, and it actually stayed with me the whole day. We walked a little bit around downtown Disney, and we were going to go to dinner with my sister and her husband. And I said, you know what, guys, I got to go back to the room. I do not feel well. And I went back to the room. I took the bus back to the room. Patty had the van, and I crashed because I felt so horrible after staying up for so long.
Yeah, you really need a night's sleep to get rid of catch up on the sleep and get rid of that motion issue that just goes on.
Right. And I mean, at least our spouses had the kids, so we can take that break.
Right.
If you're by yourself, it's difficult to take that break, and it's difficult to get the kids to understand, hey, I got to take a nap for a few hours, just hang out in the room and watch some, cartoons or whatever on the, resort TV. So there's that. You really want to stay as refreshed as you can. Yeah. So,
well, I think we need to address your question here. We do take 77 south.
Yes.
To 26, Interstate 26, to 95, Interstate 95.
Yeah.
I will say, whenever you do leave, whatever you decide to do, make sure you time everything so you do not hit a major city at rush hour if you can avoid it.
Yes, absolutely.
There's nothing like making great time and then you hit Charlotte and you're in, morning rush hour traffic for like a couple extra hours than you intended.
Yeah, bumper to bumper, and I've done that. I came back and hit that one time, and we were trying to time it so that we just missed it. We got through it before rush hour, but we got delayed on 95 coming up. That delay.
Oh, yeah, that was going to be another point I was going to bring up, 95.
Savannah. Yeah. As far as driving through the West Virginia mountains at night, oof, when you're running solo like that, I don't recommend it. And we talked about this, Tim, especially around Christmas time, November, December, January, February, even March. You got to be real careful up in those mountains. Because it might be okay here, but those are higher elevations. And I've driven through there in late November, and there's snow on the mountains.
You need to make sure your tires are inflated and have good tread because you could hit snow.
Right.
You could also hit fog. Don't forget about fog up there.
Absolutely.
There was a
black ice and. Yeah.
There was a fog accident, like a year ago around Fancy Gap right there on the mountains?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And that was like, I think hours people were at a dead stop. Oh, and this summer coming back, there was one tunnel. There was a fire in the tunnel there.
Yeah.
And that was closed, and I was worried coming home that I wasn't going to be able to, I'd have to go around the tunnel. And you know the area, Bob. There's no easy way to get around that tunnel.
Oh, no.
There's a reason that tunnel's there.
That's right. You're adding some time. Yeah, exactly. I know from the Cleveland area, if you wanted to go down 71 and pick up 75 in Cincinnati, that is a longer route. It really will. We've done that one before as well, and it takes you, I think you're adding about 5 hours to your drive.
And I heard you hit Atlanta going that way, and that could be a problem.
Oh, Atlanta's horrible.
Is that a yes?
There's traffic in Atlanta. It's like D.C. There's always traffic. I don't care what time of the day or night you're going through it. There's always traffic. Yeah. So, we want everybody in Looper Nation to just be safe.
Exactly.
We don't want anybody to get hurt. We love driving down.
We're big fans of the drive.
We're going to address this in an upcoming show, but we're transportation wise, there's nothing better than having that car. So we like driving, but just be safe. Don't push yourself.
Have the car service. Don't be afraid to stop. If you don't have a night stay planned, but you need to stop, just stop.
Just stop. Oh, and that brings up a point, and I'm going to throw this out there. If anybody has on their smartphone, make sure you put the app TripAdvisor on that smartphone because TripAdvisor is fantastic. You can just click on it. Anywhere near you, they'll tell you what the best hotels are, not rated on any quote-unquote experts, but on actual visitors to the hotel. Be careful because some, there's only 2 reviews and they get good reviews, but it might not be as nice a place. But others, you'll see there's thousands of reviews at most hotels. So that's a good way to find not only a good place to stay, but a good place to eat too.
Right. On your way down, because you really don't want to spend any money for a resort with big amenities or anything. You just want a nice, clean hotel, comfortable bed, get up, have breakfast at the McDonald's, and get on the road and go.
Right. And better to arrive safely and, take a little bit extra time than push yourself and, God forbid, get hurt.
Exactly.
So I hope that helped, Cynthia. We're not trying to scare anybody into not driving. But just know your limitations and think about not just getting there, but what's going to happen after you get there.
Exactly. And then you got to get home. Don't forget that. You don't want to wear yourself out on the trip and then have to drive 16, 17 hours and you're the only driver.
Right.
Just something to think about.
And I know you and I, after we read this, we took a look at some airfares, and that's a rough time for airfare.
It is tough.
Around Christmas. So
I see why she wants to drive.
Absolutely. But just take that extra day. Make sure you're doing the bulk of your driving during the day, and you should be fine. So, Tim.
Yes.
That is all I got.
Oh, I'll throw out, don't let the West Virginia Turnpike scare you. You can't speed on it, but it's a safe road now. Nice and smooth. You're good to go.
Oh, yeah.
3 tolls. I think it's 3 tolls.
Yes, and don't be afraid to get one of those easy passes because it makes it a little bit quicker. You still got to slow down and almost stop, but you can keep going pretty quick. Yeah. So
I don't have the easy pass.
I know you don't.
I just stop.
That's why, I like to brag.
I know you do. I like to visit the friendly people there in the booth.
Is that what you do?
That's what I do. Give them a little bit of money, they'll let me through.
You're such a nice man.
Yeah, we go way back. I call it a tip. They call it a toll. Whatever. Oh, my goodness.
All right.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. This has been ResortLoop.com. You can find me on Twitter. I'm ResortLoopTim. We have the website, ResortLoop.com.
And I'm ResortLoop Bob on the Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget Facebook /ResortLoop. And again, rate us on iTunes if you'd be so kind. And where else can they listen to?
You could always find us on the Twitter. Did I say the wrong thing?
And the Stitcher.
That too. Come on. That's now Deezer. It's going to be a whole new thing over there.
It's written right in front of you.
It is written right in front of me. I was thinking about if anybody has any other driving tips, send them in. We'll share them. We'd love to do that.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. This has been, make sure I say this right, the gateway to the magic.
See you, everybody.
Here, can you hang on for a second? That's Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Bum bum ba da bum bum ba da bum 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 ba da bum bum ba da